Good evening. I'm so glad that you could be here tonight. On behalf of the Gail Borden poetry group that meets the first Monday of every month, I welcome you to our annual presentation, Poetry Alive. We're going to begin with some poems that have to do with writing and poetry. I want to wake up tomorrow ready to dance in a pile of words, eager to kick them this way and that, as vibrant autumn colors miraculously appear in spring. I want to lie down in my pile of shining words, feeling them caress my body as they conform to my shape. I cannot be afraid to tumble in my words, to cherish them when they sometimes crumble in my hands, fragile like autumn leaves. I roll around like a joyous puppy or a clever cat searching for her prey beneath the piles. I select precious words, crimson, ochre, velvet brown, red orange, shades of yellow, deep, pale, and bright. And I write, lifting my words from the ground.
The poet that lives inside of me. There's a poet living inside of me. At times we disagree. Often life gets in the way. Don't write a thing from March to May. But the poet who lives inside of me is writing every day. He stores these poems, who knows where. He doesn't say, I do not care. When I need to write a poem, he lets me know they're there. The poet who lives inside of me, it seems we're in a fight. But rather than we disagree, we both know that we are right. There's another one, it's called I Took a Poet to Lunch Today. I took a poet to lunch today, and there amid the verse, our flow of thought was free and light, not stifled, bland, or terse. I took a poem to lunch today and traded quip for quip. She scrawled a sonnet on her check and left it with her tip. If you can't take a poet to lunch today, please do not wear a frown. We all write poems in our own way, and some just write them down.
Harness. Words are hard to harness. They stay in the back of the cave of my mind, unwilling to come out. I stare at the blank page in front of me, unable to harness the words I need to write this stupid paper.
Writing. My hands seemed to be waiting for words. They came easily, already flowing from my fingers to the page, falling out line by line with freedom, without rules, without judgment. Urges internal, but seemingly from the outside too. Perhaps becoming a gift to you, but also to me.
Sometimes poet. I'm a sometimes poet when the spirit springs up in a thought that worms round in the middle of the night. There is no sleep till the pen spills it out. I'm a sometimes poet when fear crashes in and useless worry disturbs. When faith is shaken to the core, I must take the form of words. I'm a sometimes poet when the world cracks open, when blood spills in the streets and angst grips my voice, when divisiveness threatens, my only defense is words. I'm a sometimes poet when beauty overwhelms, Creation shines and time forgives. When pain subsides and hope returns, it must be told. I'm a sometimes poet when my heart is warmed and can swell no more and my soul is fed. When love reveals faithfulness, trust, and care, it's required that words be sealed into print to remain, to sustain. Excuse me.
I've been writing ever since. In the bedroom then, and now too. Like then, it began with a voice in my head that sang and became a caravan of words, words, words. Boomerang, caught one. Here, I can't get no. Why is that? Although it was years ago, Mick Jagger, Lou Reed, Gertrude Stein, and the need to imitate filled my plate to fabricate pure fantasy. A poem? It's written, erased, then written again, my inner whatever. Oh, it rhymes. When playtime like then had consonant rhymes, the internal ones too, was way, way different when I was 10. What rhymes with Ben? Then, even without a pen, I wrote again and again, still do as I knew then. And now, these ecstasies dwell as it did then. I take 10 and look back at the gift of magic penciled words. And then, when school left me, I would stay up all night. And then it took years under the light. No, you can't have the rights. I've been writing ever since then. And now, my words simply lend their meaning to everything you've heard in this voice. Listen, special words rejoice. I'm a poet. I have no choice. I've been writing ever since then, when I was 10.
Buzzing. Cut the thoughts out of my head to glue them back together, arranged as the truth. Share the correct amount in the right way, enough times to dice the day's din. Hide enough behind Shakespeare's Greek pantheon as needed.
Pavlov's poets. Deep, dense and unconscious, deep-rooted responses command us to nuzzle our word-laden bowls. Conditioned we travel at the ring of the word bell towards syllabic rewards that a poem must hold. In sweet metered reflex, excited by new text, pen touches the paper and we're after our goal. We salivate, alliterate, grunt, parse, and conjugate. Until terse in our verse, we lie damp in our drool, and then when we're all done and stanzas are all spun, we are ready to hear our hosannas sung bold. But no one is out there to answer our blank stares as we all call around for rewards as foretold. We answered the word bell, we wrote under its spell. What goes on? What the hell? Where's our bone?
So now before we get to the rest of the program, I'm going to share 2 poems with you, and then it's going to be everybody else. This one is called Doing Nothing. I like to do nothing with you, absolutely nothing. It's a question of just being with you. I don't have to do anything at all. I don't have to talk. I don't have to play a game. I don't have to impress you. I can just be who I am. And you can just be who you are. And we can very happily do nothing together. If I want, I can write a poem or cook a meal or sing a song. But I don't have to do those things for you to love me. I don't have to do those things for you to want to be with me. I am enough, just being me. And you are enough, just being you. I like to watch you just being, appreciating the universe. I like seeing the world through your eyes. I can feel what you see and understand. You can sense what I think and soak it in. Doing nothing with you is doing something rare and special. I'd rather do nothing that's really something than do nothing by myself, which really isn't anything. I like to do nothing with you. Wisdom. I am of an age when wisdom settles in. My years cradling a vast array of experiences, my youthful innocence wiped away, dusted by the cloth of reality. Does this mean I'm truly done? Finally possessing sufficient strength to carry on no matter what the challenges? Do I wallow in wisdom, patting myself on the back, having made it almost to a crone? Whatever wisdom I possess might well die with me, for my children, of necessity, must walk their own pathways to find truth, while I take my wisdom to the grave. Okay, so now I have the special privilege of introducing Aaron Ryan, our current poet laureate, and he is going to share two of his glorious poems with you.
Thank you, Gareth, for that lovely introduction, and thank you everybody for joining us today to celebrate Poetry Month. I'm going to share two poems that celebrate identity, the first of which we celebrate gender identity. This poem, without further ado, is titled My Garden. Raised a perfect daughter. Mother bound me in a bouquet. No petal out of place. Caged in cold, colorless vase. Trapped in glass. Smothered by another's fingerprints. Raised a rose. Mother clipped my thorns, carving scab after scab. Picked my withered petals, snipped my wilted stem, leaving less and less of me. I sheared my hair, bound my chest, raised your little girl. I whittled a man, pairing my own shape. Smaller and smaller. I couldn't create your perfect sculpture, bound to one gender, like flower to vase. Raised to be anyone but me. I am no rose. I am a garden. I am the earth cradling broken seeds. I am roses and dandelions, flowers and weeds. I am boy and girl and every hue in between. Buried deep, I never know who I am becoming. Thank you, everybody. And the second poem I will be sharing with everybody is a poem celebrating another form of identity. We will be diving deep into dissociative identity disorder with some outer space imagery, which I'm sure y'all are a fan of given the recent eclipse. Without further ado, this poem is titled Cosmic. I am not alone, floating in the Gulf of Mexico as the color melts out of the sky. The line between ocean and heaven blurring black, leaving only crashing waves. The horizon dissipates. I am not afraid. Are you afraid of the ocean, of what lurks beneath? Monsters in the deep, sharks with sharp teeth? I am no monster. I am only altars, not a solitary splash, but a chorus of many kissing the distant shore. Beneath these waves braves an ecosystem of all the things you cannot see. I am a coral reef, a rainbow shrouded by night. Each color has their own name, their own identity, their own way of blooming inside this body we call home. I am a shapeshifter, or at least I wish I could shift my shape as easily as the ocean sculpts waves. Are you afraid of what I am, who I am? Are you afraid I'll slip away like water through your fingers? I am a galaxy, or at least I hold the universe in my reflection, full moon rippling in my chest, stars twinkling in my skin. Trace the stars down my arms, and you'll map my constellations, veins flowing blue down my waiting wrists. Press your thumbs to my wrists. Find a pulse shared by many who are scared not of the ocean, but of what happens when we share our diagnosis. I am a seashell pressed to your ear. Do you hear all our voices? Will you love me for all of me? Will you skip stones across my skin, bruising my tranquility? Or will you cup my holy water in your palms, cradling this mirror of the cosmos in your hands? I am a love story waiting to be told. If only you'll believe the story we're telling. We are as real as the ocean whispering back. If only you'll believe who I am. Thank you.
The ampersand. The ampersand is very grand when he is on vacation. He looks real great, is never late, for he is punctuation. The ampersand stands in for and when and is on hiatus. He tells parentheses to let it be when question marks berate us. He says to dash, don't be so brash because you are in Morse. Without me, AT&T could never stay the course. The ampersand don't understand why pound signs now hashtag. The @sign's name is appersand, which really is a drag. The ampersand don't hang out late at exclamation point, but saves the drama for the comma when he gets out of joint.
Song of Generations. I sing to my baby as I rock her back and forth and her seashell eyes close. It is the same song my mom made up and sang to me when I was a baby. I wonder if, when my baby grows up, she will sing the same song. No, she will have a baby of her own and sing the same song. I wonder how far this generational song will go. In 200 years, will there be a mother, a descendant of mine, singing the same silly song to her baby? That is too far in the future to think about. For now, she's my baby, and I am singing to her.
Lightning. Lightning briefly lightens the skies like an afterthought, like a wink in the night. Just a little reminder of what it can do if it really wanted to. The snail. The snail there just inched along upon his little journey. He raised his horns and moved along, clearly in no hurry. He stopped along his world's stage to decide just what to do. He only knew he wasn't done, his travels far from through. The horns upon his tiny head both see and hear for him. He drew them in and stayed real still and blended with the wind.
In the middle of the night. I wonder if my tulips will come up in spring. Will cancer ever return? Will I need my boots again this spring? Are mom and dad together in heaven? I wonder what happened to Sally, our cat. Do I remember how to play bridge? Could I still ride a bike? Would I ever have been able to ski? What will become these grandchildren of mine? Will I be alive for their weddings? Should I print my poems? Does anyone like them, or are they just being polite? Which will go first, my mind or my body? Could this really be my last car? Is Alexa really listening? Is God really watching? Did I remember to buy stamps? Is there milk for breakfast? My pillboxes are empty. Where did I leave my blue sweater? Is that birds I hear? Is it time to get up? I might as well check on the weather.
Cockatoo de la Tour. I'm going to do it. It's a duet with my bird friend. Likes to talk a lot. I can't sing like a cockatoo and expect to fly because I want to. No, I can't. But I can yell fire in a theater, and when everyone's gone, fire! And you thought that was a cockatoo de la Tour? No. Haven't you heard? It's me, not the bird. But the bird argues, it's me. Poor old us. What are we to do? I know. I think I'll write. All right. The cockatoo shrills. Chewink, I'm a bird. I'll write a haiku. Cockatoos sing, they do. Sing of the morning wind. As wings flutter, he sings. What's next? I think I'll write a nani. What's that? Babbling, rambling. A nani cat. Where's a hat? That hat. I'm a bird. Fool, I said. It's 4 lines on paper and a 25-syllable caper. The cockatoo counts, shouts. No, you can't sing like me. Frisbee, bird, kitty whack. I'm a bird. You can't poop and fly at the same time. I'm a bird. No, I can't. But I can make war and pollute the world. I'm a man, not a bird. And you thought life was a cockatoo de la Tour? Babbling, rambling. What's that? Scaly feet, mine. The cockatoo shouts, fire! That's my line, I said. I'm a lion. No, you're a bird. Meow. I'm a cat. Of course you are. Meow. Ruff, ruff. Adult poem for like children.
Satisfaction. In the beginning, there is an ignorant unity when we remember the question. We tear ourselves apart in pursuit of any sembling whiff of the answer desperately. Our fracast frequencies find ourselves instead inside this matter of existence trapped beneath the surface of time, hungering for ourselves.
Mr. Pestercat. Dawn peeks slit slat through drawn window blinds, and a furry alarm clock rumble roar purrs and presses rhythmic paws into my side. Morning papers surrender to head pokes and powerful shoulders that worm their way onto my lap to distribute fine gray hairs over freshly donned black slacks. Spilled water and strewn food mark his kitchen passage towards a warm open dryer or newly folded laundry that beckons seductively for an early morning nap. Just purchased groceries are nose tallied and inspected before being pushed curious off counters to see how they bounce or break on freshly washed wood floors. While brown paper sacks are pounced on and propelled through the house by pumping piston hind legs emerging from bags openings, until he runs into a tottering, almost fallen floor lamp. Flower bouquets are arranged for a quick petal nibble amid delicate table-set glassware before buzzing flies capture his tiny hunter's mind, and his leap miraculously breaks nothing. Serpentine leg rubbing weaves between my dancing tiptoe steps before he bolts through an open door, linebacker quick, to sit serene under the driveway car, despite whispered pleas and curses to come out. Linens and bedspread pillows are rearranged for his taxing afternoon siesta that is interrupted only by the trip to the closet's top shelf that you swear he couldn't reach. Counter leaps and chin butt greetings precede scolding, "Where's my dinner?" meows, before settling onto evening armback chairs with whisker-wide yawns and motor purrs. Lights out, and it's thunderpaw running from bedroom to basement and back again until the bed shudders and he burrows his cold, wet nose under the sheets and wishes me a pleasant night's sleep.
So Ed just joined us. He works for the library, and we're delighted that he could leave his job and come be with us.
Black canvas. Richness and depth added by a color that does not reflect, but rather absorbs and blends a new shade to each subject, lending more for the thoughtful observer's eye to detect. Beneath the surface tension rests more than a simple, single thought or emotion, with heart's desire to mix or mingle, a sensation that is not flat, but much more akin to a tingle. Bolder colors of red, orange, yellow, or crystal blue jump out to speak to the searcher of accented hue. So too the canvas, not simple background, but new, a part of the artist's expression, not apart from it, allows the experience complete, deeper summit, the kind reflected in pleasure, a lower lip bit. Feelings and sensations complex, primal, and refined. The black canvas does not tell, but allows each to be defined by who is casting not just their eye, but also an open mind. Savage beauty, sophisticated taste swirl over and throughout, bringing questions to learn anew, not the grayness of doubt. The black canvas brings all within, understanding paramount. Black and white canvases offering a different stimulation of the mind, better serving as part of the spectrum, brown, yellow, red, and more combined.
This is called Do What I Did. If you want your love story to have a happy end, do what I did. Marry your best friend. If a diamond isn't really her thing, do what I did. Buy an emerald ring. If your fiancé doesn't need a lot of folks to see her wed, don't do what I did. Just elope instead. 26 years ago this Valentine's Day, we got our marriage license, and I'm here to say, I'm so glad I married my best friend. I did what I did, and I'd do it again. This was adapted from a song I wrote for a friend. Rainy days in April, almost every day. Rainy days in April, flowers come in May. Rainy days in May, there are still a few. I prefer a rainy day in June spent with you. Rainy days in June, baseball gets delayed. If it's really pouring, some games don't get played. Though I'd miss my baseball, I will tell you true. I prefer a rainy day in June spent with you. Though you can't predict them, like these April showers, and you sure can't pick them, like the sweet May flowers, if I could choose my favorite time of year and the weather too, I would pick a rainy day in June spent with you. Aim, I love you dearly. Loving you is cursory. Even if it rains here on our anniversary, when the rain comes falling in April, May, or November, rainy days in June and you, I will remember.
Ode to a lazy cat. Napping on sofas and stealing your food. Sleeping in sunshine and improving your mood. Dozing on laundry. Don't move that, that's rude. Resting almost anywhere and still stealing your food.
Just evolution. Crisp blue sky, yellow field, not contrived, beautiful. A cloud streak above, shoots of wheat sprinkle below. A tiny tree, leafless on the far horizon, surveys the world, loves it and is part of it, as are all of us, as is everything, this phenomenon, this earth and all it holds. Could this just be evolution, the billions of years trailing behind and ahead, and we a mere speck on the timeline? Imagine the wind. Who or what could imagine the wind if it never was? Who or what could conceive such a thing, breathing past you and me, invisible but felt, moving things gently like a whisper, or roaring through town, treetops going down? Who or what could evolve to the wind, from beginnings to now, molecule upon molecule, splitting apart from dust spinner to storm? Where did it start? Who or what became the wind? From nothing to something in the blink of an eye, returning to nothing in the length of a sigh. Who or what could imagine the wind?
I wish you awe. I wish you sudden small delights, the vastness of the heavens, knowing you are in the presence of greatness. I wish you a dusty slide into home base, the effervescent cheer of the crowd, a perfect swoosh down the icy mountain. I wish you a beauty of a simple melody, your soul filled with the sound of your voice in the choir, the vibration of bass notes in your core. I wish you the wonder of an eagle's swoop, the overwhelming vastness of the canyon, and the thunder of water over the falls. I wish you the mystery of a honeycomb, the shocking instant when you first understand, and the moment you realize that you're falling in love. I wish you all.
Did it happen? Time has no beginning or end, intangible as space, immeasurable as universes, and the places I've never been to, I simply imagine. Venus with no moon by her side, lonely as a star, without light, the Big Bang, its origin? Unknown. The question, did it happen if no one saw it? And more concepts of where we came from are never ending as forever is forever. And lawless auroras on earth shine with ecstatic energies, and luminous facts change with each new discovery. Time. Spaceship, oh spaceship, plunging through the wormhole, lands on Jupiter with mad gas, mad as 79 moons stretch through the Milky Way, way out, and lonely Earth, only with one moon, waits for the next comet. Some planets have all the luck, don't they? Yet, I look with wandering eyes and dream wonder, who's the architect of my nights? The night poet-like answers. Silently, the poem feels it, deciphers itself without me retold. It becomes a myth. A lonely earth spins on her orbit and surpasses any beliefs I have. Time has no beginning or end.
The Lakes by Taylor Swift, Erasure. December 2023, dedicated to the poets killed in Palestine by the Israeli occupation. Cynical hunters, where the poets die, don't you cry. My muse should be under my skin, heart-stopping, too far to watch. Tell me where the poets went. You set off auroras. Over my years, I want right here. Red rose, frozen ground, no one around. I bathe in love and grief, all the poets die. Don't cry.
Promise me spring. Melting needles of glistening ice run silver at my shoes. The prison bars of winter streams thaw and rush towards you. Blue sky hopes tick seconds slow on sluggish arms of polar clocks, while west wind's breath warms dull gray snow, bringing dreams of equinox. Slip forward, spring, between cold breeze and ceaseless calendar days. Your ghost voice teases with last year's dreams and this year's promised change. Wake me soon with smiling streams of brilliant buds and blooms. Show me laughing colors of life amid rivers of green in you. Remember now your yearly vow and make me young again.
Elderberry giving. Of the land or off the land, a way of living. 3 seasons of 4, one can't ask much more. So often it is these native ways, keeping track by sun and moon, native days. Keep water clean and land restore, this mindful way of elderberry giving. Simple beauty, satin white buttons pop, blooming forth atop rays of green, clumps of flowers spread out across. This native, as others, need not be our loss. Spring beauty into syrup by right eyes seen, flowers fallen or taken, growth and giving do not stop. Summer warmth carries over, beauty seen throughout. Onset of August, tiny red beads begin to form. The soon to be dark purple, small but goodness filled, to pick and strain, sharing, sweet and healing willed. Sharing of self with all. Each season, this is the norm. Elderberry giving helps native flora and fauna, no doubt. Lending beauty and more to landscapes that are living. These natives so often, best examples of elderberry giving.
So how are we doing? We're doing okay. Yep. We weren't sure about our timing because everybody was in the rehearsal all at the same time. So we have time. Do we couple more calls?
Rain, snow, sleet, ice, storm, breeze. Weather stiffens, weather softens, weather freeze. Wind, tornado, hurricane, sunshine, heat, and clouds. Weather exposes, weather imposes, weather shrouds. Warm and cold, fog and mist, even dew and frost. Weather gives, weather takes, sometimes at great cost. Rain, snow, sleet, ice, storm, breeze. Weather brings me to my senses, often to my knees.
Plants are dying. Plants are dying in my house, begging for some light. Plants are crying in the night over their sorry plight. Yes, I do water them, hoping for the best. Do I overshower them? Is this some kind of test? Perhaps I do. I've not a clue how much they really need. Sprinkle them or oversoak, it's a matter of degree. Well, it's dead, my neighbor said. Throw it in the trash. I guess I should. I just meant good. It perished in my lap. I heard the birds. I heard the birds in darkening skies drifting through my sliding door, the tweets, the twitters, the highs, the lows, like music from the great beyond. And sitting here in tired day and sweetly spinning out a yarn where we hear them and they hear us and somehow settles in one song.
Bending. A wise woman said, when you're blessed with long life, you have to learn how to bend. Must I bend to the floor and retrieve what I dropped? It aches and it's hard to recover. Can I bend enough to love the ones who are wrong and I simply know it? If I bend that far, light might peek through. Crack lets ideas in. But it aches to reach out. It takes work to think through. I might have to change my mind. If I stretch my arms, I can reach to embrace the hungry, the different, the angry. I am blessed with long life. I could learn how to bend, though it aches and it's hard to recover. But the more I do it, the less it hurts. She was right. I can learn how to bend.
Okay, I have two short ones. First one's called Women. Women are like guns, loaded. Poetry similes shoot through the heart, made from a bullseye stretcher of bullets. And the one that got me, when we first kissed, she shoots like Annie Oakley. This one's called Hermetic Brain. Hermetic brain thinks, I listen, my mind doubts it. Who's right? Me, I think.
In my dream, I am on display, trying to find myself hanging on the wall like shards of porcelain, searching for magic words to satisfy mad monsters hungry from regurgitating despair. Out from underneath the sun, I point to the parked license plates, sharing garbled warnings and misremembered tongues. In the handful of moments before I can spiral, she smiles at me again, unwavering distraction from the unsung. Cool lights against the bare walls glisten, too bright for me to see around tight corners. Tomorrow, my toes shrivel as the water cools, working up the courage to blow out incessant candles, to drip dry shiver, to resume.
Sanctuary. For just an instant, escape the must of the daily grind for daily bread. Surrender to soft piercing sounds of locust choirs in tall oak groves, where branches break sunlight into stained glass patterns on soft green canvas, where caterpillars crawl in no particular hurry towards the butterflies they'll become, where wind breathes gently and lays contented on cool shaded skin. Embrace a stolen August day that demands not even your attention, but swings you hammock slow into a simpler summer that asks only for a spell among tiger lily dances and curtsied Queen's Anne lace to be nowhere and no one.
I'm so proud of my guys. I really am. Okay, I have one little one, and then we're going to end with our poet laureate doing an awesome poem, like all of his poems. This one's called The Land of Overthink. I live in the land of overthink. It's not something that I can change or rearrange. Sometimes there's pain. Yet I must accept that's my domain. As hour after hour, the power of words surrounds me, sometimes astound me, always resounding in my brain untamed. I claim these words, pulling and pushing them this way and that, until, like a rabbit, a poem like magic comes out of my hat. In the land of overthink.
All right, can we have a round of applause for all these amazing poets sharing their work? for this final poem, it's a very special poem to me as someone who is a patron of this library and works at this library, because this poem celebrates the library's 150th anniversary. Fun fact, you can also read this poem in print. It is currently on display in the lobby of the library, so feel free to check it out if you'd like to read the poem. For now, you get the live reading of Infinities, celebrating Gale Borden Library's 150th anniversary. I am old as a Galapagos tortoise. My shell shelters not one, but infinite fables, books as bountiful as stars. You cannot see every galaxy any more than you could read each story in my observatory. If my pages were mirrors, you'd see smiles tucked into open books. A wonder unnumbered, lest it lose its wonder. Open a book, any book, tracing my words with your fingertip, as gently as you'd graze the commas of tulips, petals curling purple, pink, peach, painting the springtime green between the Fox River and me. I am home for art, para la abuela. Alebrije exhibited my exhilarating creatures of a dream world. La tortuga shelters las mariposas monarcas, painted butterflies perched on my dome of a home. May you rest your freckled wings on my speckled green shell. I am refuge for every language, every book, every creature. Home to Rocket, the library turtle. Home to painted lady butterflies taking their first flight. Home to newborns and abuelas and readers seeking sanctuary in my shelves. Open a book, any book, and listen to these pages rustling like autumn leaves in a brisk breeze, smelling just as sweet. Breathe in the scent of a freshly printed book in your favorite nook of my paradise. I am Gale Borden Library, celebrating my 150th anniversary in verse. Yet my worth cannot be enumerated, any more than we can count the words in this vicinity, or the stars in a universe expanding infinitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And the poets are here if you want to talk to them. And I'm delighted that you came. If any of you are poets or you think you might like to want to be a poet, you don't have to, know all that much to start. The first Monday of the month in the Grove Room at 6:30 every first Monday of the month. Thank you again for coming, and I hope you continue to support our new poet laureate and all the wonderful things he's going to be doing here in Elgin. Thank you. Well done. Thank you so much. No, but it worked out great. You came at the right time. We could fit you in.